The stars looked different from the observation deck of the harmonious Unity space station. Ambassador William Carter stared out at the unfamiliar constellations, feeling both pride and unease. After decades of searching the stars for other intelligent life, humanity had not only found it, but had been invited to join its grand alliance, the Galactic Council. Beautiful, isn't it? Admiral Susan Miller joined him at the viewport. Her blue uniform stood out among the flowing robes and exoskeletons of the alien representatives mingling behind them. 23 species working together in peace, Carter said. Hard to believe we're the 24th. Miller's expression remained neutral, but Carter knew her well enough to see the doubt in her eyes. Too good to be true, you mean? I didn't say that, Carter replied softly. You didn't have to. 3 years had passed since that conversation. Earth had flourished under Council protection. New technologies transformed human society overnight. Medicine advanced by centuries. Energy problems vanished. 7 new colony worlds thrived under Earth's flag. The United Earth Defense Force trained alongside Council peacekeepers, learning to operate advanced weapon systems and starships. But Admiral Miller never stopped watching. Never stopped questioning. She stood now in her private office on Luna, base Earth's moon, reviewing classified reports. The door chimed. Enter, she said. Dr. Alan Pierce walked in, looking tired. His rumpled appearance contrasted with Miller's crisp uniform. You found something, Miller said. It wasn't a question. Pierce placed a data drive on her desk. I did, and we were right to worry. Miller plugged the drive into her secure terminal. Encrypted messages appeared. Communications between Council species. Some dated back to before humanity's first contact. My friend Keeloth helped me get this, Pierce explained. He's a Vexari scientist who disagrees with Council leadership. Miller scanned the messages, her face growing darker. Operation Human Containment? They're afraid of us, Pierce said simply. Humans do in decades what took them millennia. We adapt too quickly, innovate too aggressively. The Council appears peaceful, but it's really a system of control. Miller stood and began pacing. The restricted zones on the station, the classified technology sectors, the way some Council members dismiss our questions. She stopped. We need to warn Earth immediately. That's why I'm here, Pierce said. Keeloth says they're moving up their timeline. Something spooked them. Miller activated her emergency communication array. This is Admiral Miller requesting direct link to Earth Defense Command. Authorization code Sierra 9 Delta 7. The screen remained dark. She tried again. No response. Try your personal channels, she told Pierce. He pulled out his communication device and frowned. Nothing. All channels to Earth are dead. Miller walked to the window overlooking the lunar landscape. From this side of the moon, Earth wasn't visible, but she could imagine it hanging in space, blue and vulnerable. It started, she whispered. The alarm sounded moments later. Red lights flashed as her second-in-command, Captain Frank Rivera, rushed in. Admiral, massive energy pulse detected. Earth's defense grid is offline. All communications disrupted. And the Council peacekeeping fleet. He paused, struggling to say the words. They're attacking, Miller finished for him. Rivera nodded. All 7 colony worlds report the same. Council ships have dropped their friendly signatures and are demanding unconditional surrender. Miller's mind raced. They had prepared for this possibility, despite being called paranoid by Earth's leadership. Activate Shadow Protocol, she ordered. Rivera's eyes widened. That would mean... I know exactly what it means, Captain. The Council just declared war on humanity. We're going to give them one. Within minutes, Luna Base transformed. Hidden weapons systems emerged from concealed bunkers. Disguised military ships powered up in secret hangars. Miller addressed her command staff in the war room. The Council believes they understand humans. They think we're dangerous but predictable. They're half right. She brought up a star map, showing human territory. Red markers indicated Council ships surrounding Earth and the colonies. They control all official channels and have disabled our main defenses, she continued. But humanity has never trusted easily. We've maintained backup systems, hidden fleets, and emergency protocols they know nothing about. Pierce entered with new information. I've made contact with Keloth. There's a faction of Vexari who oppose this attack. They can help us, but we need to reach them. What about Ambassador Carter? Rivera asked. Still on the council station, Pierce replied. He's alive but under guard. Miller studied the tactical display. The council expects us to either surrender or fight a losing battle to protect Earth. We won't do either. She zoomed in on a star system far from Earth, Proxima Centauri b. Officially classified as uninhabitable, but we've had a secret facility there for years. Project Sanctuary. The backup colony, Rivera said with dawning realization. Miller nodded. I'm going to announce our surrender, while transmitting coded coordinates to all human forces who can receive them. We'll gather at Sanctuary and rebuild. But Earth, Pierce began. We'll have to wait, Miller said firmly. 11 billion people. We can't save them all today, but we can save enough to ensure humanity survives. And eventually, we'll come back. She turned to her communications officer. Prepare a broadcast on all frequencies, and embed the sanctuary coordinates in the carrier wave using Protocol Omega. As her staff rushed to comply, Miller stared at the image of Earth on her screen. The beautiful blue planet that had nurtured humanity since its beginning. Now a trap for billions. This isn't over, she promised quietly. This is just beginning. Across human space, those who received the hidden message began slipping away from Council forces. Ships vanished from monitoring systems. Key personnel disappeared from colonies. Earth resistance groups went underground. And on the Council station, Ambassador Carter watched the aliens celebrate their peaceful containment of the human threat, while secretly meeting with a Vexari named Keloth who offered an unexpected alliance. The Council had betrayed humanity, but they had made a critical mistake. They had studied human history, human biology, human technology. They had never truly understood human determination. The Council attack came with shocking speed. Earth's major military bases went dark first. Then government centers fell. Power grids failed across continents. Massive ships appeared in skies over major cities. Their message played on every working device: surrender or be destroyed. Most officials gave up without a fight. What choice did they have? Council technology was centuries beyond Earth's best weapons, but not everyone surrendered. Marine Colonel Gregory Daniels watched the alien ships hover over Denver from his mountain position. His battalion had been training in the Rockies when the attack began. When surrender orders came through, he crushed his communication device under his boot. We're not giving up, he told his soldiers. Not today, not ever. His second in command, Major Lisa Howard, looked worried. What can we do against that? She pointed at the massive ships. We don't fight them head on, Daniels said. We disappear, we watch, we learn, and when the time is right, we strike. By nightfall, Daniels had moved his people deeper into the mountains. They weren't alone. Civilians found them, hunters, park rangers, and families fleeing the cities. All brought the same news. Aliens were taking over everything. On the other side of the world, Dr. Olivia Washington worked frantically in her lab beneath New Shanghai. Warning systems showed alien troops entering the building above. We have 10 minutes at most, she told her team of engineers. Download everything you can, then destroy what remains. Washington had never trusted the Council. When they shared basic weapon designs with Earth, she had studied them deeply and found ways to improve them that the aliens never expected. Now that work might save what remained of humanity. Her assistant, Ben Liu, looked up from his computer. Download complete. Where do we go now? Washington pulled a hidden panel from the wall, revealing a tunnel. I've been preparing for this day for 2 years. This leads to an old mining system. From there, we can reach the coast. Alarms blared as the lab door began to spark. The aliens were cutting through. Go now, Washington ordered. Her team disappeared. into the tunnel with their precious data. She set the lab's self-destruct sequence and took one last look around before following them. The explosion would destroy everything the aliens might use, and hopefully buy them time to escape. Far above, Earth. Ambassador Carter sat in his luxurious prison aboard the Council station. Officially, he was an honored guest during this peacekeeping operation. In reality, he was a prisoner. The door slid open. A Vexari entered, a tall, slender alien with iridescent skin and 4 arms. Carter recognized him as Keloth, Dr. Pierce's friend. "They are not watching right now," Keloth whispered, "but we have little time." Carter stood. "Why are you helping me?" "What the Council is doing is wrong," the alien replied. "Many Vexari think so, some other species too. The Exari pushed for this attack. They control the Council through fear and manipulation. And you want to stop them?" Keloth's large eyes blinked rapidly, a Vexari sign of agreement. "We have been searching for allies. You humans adapt quickly, think differently. The Exari fear this. We welcome it." Carter understood immediately. A rebellion within the Council. Yes, but we must move carefully. The Exari are powerful. They have eyes everywhere. Carter thought of Earth, of the billions suffering under alien control. "What can I do from here?" "Pretend to cooperate. Gather information. I will return when I can." Keloth moved toward the door, then turned back. "You're Admiral Miller?" "She escaped. The Council cannot find her fleet." A small smile crossed Carter's face. "That sounds like Susan." In the darkness of space, Vice Admiral Nancy Foster's ships drifted silently in the asteroid belt of Tau Ceti. She had never appeared in public council ceremonies, never shaken alien hands, never trusted their promises. Some called her paranoid. Now her paranoia was saving lives. "Status report," she ordered. Her tactical officer, Lieutenant Sam Boyd, looked up from his console. 37 ships accounted for, Admiral, all running silent. Approximately 12,000 personnel total. Foster nodded. It wasn't much compared to Earth's billions, but it was something. "Any word from Admiral Miller?" "Nothing direct," Boyd replied. "But we detected a coded pattern in her surrender broadcast. Coordinates for Proxima Centauri B. Sanctuary," Foster whispered. "The backup plan they had created together, a place no one would think to look for humans. Plot a course. We'll move in small groups, no more than 3 ships at a time, low, power, long jumps. That will take weeks," Boyd pointed out. "Better slow than dead," Foster replied. "Spread the word to all captains. We leave in 6 hours." Back on Earth, the aliens began their occupation in earnest. They called it integration. Humans called it slavery. Council forces set up headquarters in major cities. They demanded Earth's resources. They restricted human movement. Special camps were created for those with military or scientific backgrounds. People disappeared inside and never came out. But the aliens discovered something unexpected. Humans were hard to control. For every problem they solved, 2 more appeared. Communication. Networks the aliens shut down came back online in different forms. Weapons they confiscated were replaced with homemade versions. Leaders they captured were replaced by new ones. The resistance was scattered but stubborn. 6 months after the fall of Earth, Admiral Miller's plan began to bear fruit. Human survivors gathered slowly at Sanctuary, the underground base on Proxima Centauri B. The planet's surface was deadly. Radiation, extreme temperatures, poisonous atmosphere. Perfect cover for a hidden base. Miller stood in the command center studying reports. The news was grim but not hopeless. Foster's fleet had almost all arrived. Daniels's resistance fighters had established contact. Washington's team had set up a research facility. Carter was feeding them council information through Keloth. Captain Rivera entered with the latest count. 15 million confirmed survivors, Admiral, more arriving daily. Miller nodded. A tiny fraction of humanity's original population, but enough to rebuild, enough to fight back. What's the status of Operation Ghost, she asked. First phase complete, Rivera reported. Stealth ships are in position near all 7 colony worlds. They're mapping Council patrol patterns and defense systems. And Earth? More difficult. They've turned the moon into a fortress. But Washington's team has had a breakthrough with their cloaking technology. We might be able to slip past soon. Miller walked to the large window overlooking the underground city they were building. People moved with purpose below, carrying supplies, building homes, training for war. The Council thinks they've won, she said quietly. They think humans are beaten, broken, scattered. She turned to Rivera with steel in her eyes. Let them think that. While they celebrate their victory, we'll prepare their defeat. Throughout human-occupied space, the whisper began to spread. A single word passed between trusted friends. A promise. A destination. Sanctuary. 1 year had passed since the fall of Earth. Deep beneath the harsh surface of Proxima Centauri b, Sanctuary had grown from a mere survival outpost into a thriving underground city. Carved into ancient rock, the base now housed over 15 million humans, soldiers, scientists, engineers, farmers, teachers, and children. In the central command room, Admiral Miller met with what people now called the Resistance Council. Around the table sat Vice Admiral Foster, Colonel Daniels, Dr. Washington, and Dr. Pierce. A hologram of Ambassador Carter flickered above the center of the table, transmitted secretly from Council space. The occupation is not going as smoothly as they planned, Carter reported. Humans are proving difficult to control. Miller allowed herself a small smile. What kind of difficulties? Everything, Carter replied. Work slowdowns, equipment failures, communication problems, small acts of sabotage. The Council expected humans to be broken by now. Instead, they're facing constant resistance. Not enough to free Earth, Daniels pointed out. His face had grown harder in the past year, marked by new scars from leading raids on Council outposts. No, Miller agreed, but enough to keep them distracted while we build our strength here. Dr. Washington activated a display showing technical schematics. We've made significant progress. By studying the Council technology and making our own improvements, we now have working prototypes of advanced stealth systems and weapons that can penetrate their shields. Show them the Spectre, Foster suggested. Washington nodded and changed the display to show a small ship with an unusual design. This is what we're calling the Spectre-class infiltrator. It uses a combination of Council stealth technology and our own innovations. It can approach any Council vessel or installation without detection. Daniels leaned forward. How soon can we deploy them? We have 5 ready now, Foster answered. Another 20 in production. Miller studied the ship. Design. Begin training your best pilots immediately, Colonel. I want raid teams ready within 2 months. What's our target? Daniels asked. For now, isolated outpost only, Miller said firmly. We gather supplies, intelligence, and leave no witnesses. The Council must not know we have this capability. Yet, Dr. Pierce cleared his throat. There's more. With Keeloth's help, I've been analyzing Council communications. The Exari, the species that pushed hardest for the attack on Earth, they've been manipulating the other Council races for centuries. How? Foster asked. Engineered conflicts, falsified history, controlled information flow. Pierce explained. The Council isn't the peaceful alliance they claimed. It's an empire with the Exari at the top. And humans threatened that arrangement, Carter added from his hologram. Not because we're uniquely dangerous, but because we would have discovered their deception quickly and potentially united the oppressed species against them. Miller stood and walked to the large map showing known Council territory. Then we have potential allies beyond Keeloth's group. Yes, Pierce confirmed. Several species are already questioning Exari rule. The attack on humanity has made some of them nervous. They wonder if they could be next. We need to reach them. Miller decided. Ambassador, can Keeloth arrange contact? Carter nodded. Carefully, yes. The Tollans and Marishi have already expressed interest in meeting. Even some Dobrani military leaders are dissatisfied with Exari command. And the Krell? Foster asked. The massive reptilian Krell were known for their physical strength and industrial capabilities. Still loyal to the Council, unfortunately, Carter replied, but there are rumors of unrest on their outer colonies. As the meeting continued in another part of Sanctuary, Ben Liu worked in Dr. Washington's lab. The past year had aged him. Long hours and stress had taken their toll, but excitement now energized his movements as he made final adjustments to a small device. Dr. Washington entered the lab. How's it coming? Liu looked up with a rare smile. It works. The test was successful. Washington moved quickly to his workstation. Show me. Liu activated the device. A small drone appeared on the screen, flying through what looked like a council facility. This was recorded at their outpost in the Tau Ceti system. Their sensors never detected our probe. Perfect stealth, Washington whispered. Better than perfect, Liu corrected. Their systems didn't just fail to detect it, they actively ignored it. The cloaking field affects their perception somehow. Washington's mind raced with possibilities. Can we scale it up? Make it work for larger vessels? Already done, Liu said proudly. The Spectre ships use a larger version of the same technology. Across the base in the military training area, Major Howard watched Colonel Daniels drilling the raid teams. They moved with precision through a mock-up of a council vessel, using modified weapons based on Dr. Washington's research. They're getting good, she told Daniels as he approached. They need to be perfect, he replied. We'll be operating in small teams deep in enemy territory with no backup. Howard nodded. The recruits from Earth arrived yesterday. Many have direct experience fighting council forces. Good. Put them through basic assessment, then integrate the best into our training program. On the other side of the galaxy, Ambassador Carter met secretly with Keloth in a maintenance tunnel of the council station. The Vexari looked anxious, his iridescent skin pulsing with stress patterns. The Exari are growing suspicious, Keloth said. They've increased security everywhere, more information restrictions, more loyalty tests. Have they identified you as a dissident? Carter asked with concern. Not yet. But they know someone is feeding information to resistance groups. Keloth handed Carter a small data crystal. This contains the patrol schedules for the next 3 cycles and the access codes for the Arcturus communication hub. Carter took the crystal carefully. This could save many lives. There's more, Keloth said, his voice dropping lower. The Exari have a weapon, something they call the Sunforge. It can manipulate stars, cause them to go supernova. Carter felt cold dread. And they plan to use it on Sol, on Earth's sun. Not immediately, Keloth assured him. It requires extensive preparation. But yes, eventually. They want to make an example of your species, erase your homeworld entirely. Back in Sanctuary, Admiral Miller ended the meeting with new orders. Foster would begin Operation Hydra, establishing secondary bases across multiple systems to ensure humanity couldn't be wiped out with a single strike. Daniels would prepare his teams for the first raids. Washington would accelerate weapon development. Pierce would work on making contact with potential alien allies. As they left, Miller remained at the table, studying the star maps. So much responsibility rested on her shoulders. So many lives depending on her decisions. Captain Rivera entered with fresh reports. Admiral, the first agricultural dome is now producing at full capacity. We'll be food independent within 6 months. Miller nodded. That's good news. There's more, Rivera added. The birth rate in Sanctuary has increased by 15% in the last quarter. Miller looked up, genuinely surprised. In the middle of all this? Perhaps because of all this, Rivera suggested. People creating new life even as the old one was destroyed. It's hopeful. Miller felt something she hadn't experienced in a long time. Hope, not just for survival, but for victory, for a future. The Council believes they've crushed us, she said softly. They have no idea what's coming. 2 years after Earth fell, humanity launched its first major strike against the Council. The target, the central communication hub in the Arcturus system. This massive station controlled all official communication between Council worlds. It was heavily guarded, considered impossible to attack. Colonel Daniels led the mission personally. 3 Spectre-class ships approached the station, completely invisible to Council sensors. The raid team wore advanced armor designed by Dr. Washington's ADA team. Their weapons could penetrate Council shields. Remember, Daniels told his team as they prepared to board the station. We're not here to destroy it. We're here to plant the Babel virus and get out. No unnecessary fighting. Major Howard checked her weapon. What if we encounter Krell guards? Their armor is thick. Aim for the joints, Daniels replied. And remember, speed is our ally. 15 minutes in, 15 minutes out. The boarding went smoothly. Council security never detected their entry. The team moved through the station like ghosts, avoiding patrols. When fighting was necessary, their new weapons proved devastatingly effective. In the central processor room, they planted Dr. Washington's creation, the Babel virus. This advanced AI program was designed to subtly alter Council communications, changing orders, manipulating intelligence reports, creating confusion between species. As they extracted, a Krell patrol spotted them. The massive reptilian aliens opened fire. Private Joe Ramirez took a hit to the leg. Daniels grabbed him, returning fire as they retreated. "Leave me," Ramirez gasped. "Complete the mission." "We don't leave people behind," Daniels growled, dragging him toward the extraction point as Howard provided covering fire. They made it back to their ships with seconds to spare. As they jumped to escape velocity, the station behind them showed no outward signs of trouble. But inside its systems, the Babel virus had already begun its work. The effects spread quickly across Council space. Ships received contradictory orders. Supply lines broke down. Patrol schedules became confused. Species began to suspect each other of sabotage or incompetence. Meanwhile, Ambassador Carter, still operating undercover on the Council station, met with representatives from 5 different species who had grown suspicious of Axari leadership. Among them were Keloth and a senior Talon military officer named Drenka. "The evidence is clear," Carter told them, showing historical records Keloth had helped him gather. "The Axari have manipulated all Council species for centuries. They engineered conflicts between your peoples to keep you divided and dependent on them." Drenka, a stocky blue-skinned alien with 4 eyes, studied the evidence. "If this is true, they have betrayed not just humans, but all Council races." "It is true," Keloth insisted. "And what they did to humans, they could do to any of us who question their authority. What do you propose?" asked Myrtle, a Marishi diplomat whose crystalline body structure caught the light as she moved. "An alliance," Carter said simply. "Not a council ruled by one species, but a true partnership of equals. Humans working alongside Vexari, Talons, Marishi, and any others who wish to join us. The Axari control the largest fleet in Council space," Drenka pointed out. "How can we hope to stand against them?" Carter smiled. "You might be surprised at what humans have been doing these past 2 years." Back at Sanctuary, Admiral Miller received reports of the raid's success and the growing alliance. She immediately called a meeting with her top commanders. "The Babel virus is working better than expected," Dr. Washington reported. "Council coordination has dropped by 60% in affected sectors." "And the alliance?" Miller asked. "Doctor," Pierce pulled up a star map. 5 species have agreed to join us so far. The Vexari bring scientific knowledge. The Talons have significant military assets. The Marishi control important trade routes. The Dobrani have extensive intelligence networks. And as of yesterday, the Krell colony in the Rigel sector has officially broken from Axari control. Vice Admiral Foster looked impressed. "The Krell? That's unexpected." "Apparently," Pierce explained, "the Axari have been keeping Krell colonies deliberately underdeveloped, fearing their potential strength. When our evidence reached them, the colonial governor immediately declared independence." Miller studied the new alliance territories on the map. "This changes everything. We're no longer just surviving. We're building a force that can challenge the Council directly. What's our next move? Foster asked. Miller zoomed in on a specific sector. The Exari homeworld. Vice Admiral, I want you to take our new stealth fleet and infiltrate their defense grid. To attack? Foster asked. No, Miller replied. To study. To find its weaknesses. And to plant a backdoor in their control systems that we can activate when the time comes. As Foster prepared her mission, Colonel Daniels led new strikes against Council supply lines and outposts. Each attack was calculated, precise, and devastating. Council forces found themselves constantly off balance, never knowing where the next it would come. On occupied Earth and other human worlds, the resistance grew stronger. Admiral Miller had managed to smuggle advanced weapons to key resistance cells. These groups targeted collaboration infrastructure and disrupted the occupation forces. During one such operation in what was once Chicago, a resistance fighter named Paul Kelly planted explosives at a Council processing center. As he snuck away through underground tunnels, he was spotted by a young boy. "Are you fighting the aliens?" the boy asked. Kelly hesitated, then nodded. "Yes." "Good," the boy said. "My dad was taken away by them last year. Mom says he's not coming back." Kelly knelt beside him. "What's your name?" "Ryan." "Listen, Ryan, don't give up hope. We're stronger than they think. And we have friends out there now. Someday we'll take back what's ours." As Kelly continued his mission, Ambassador Carter made a shocking discovery through his new alliance contacts. The Exari were accelerating their plans for the Sunforge weapon. They intended to destroy Earth's sun within the year, erasing humanity's homeworld as a warning to any species that might resist. Carter immediately transmitted this information to Sanctuary. The message reached Admiral Miller during a strategy session. "We're out of time," she announced to her commanders. "The Exari are preparing to destroy Sol. We have to move now." "We're not ready for a full-scale assault," Foster protested. "My team is still analyzing their defense grid. Then we accelerate everything," Miller decided. "Dr. Washington, is the counter device for the Sunforge ready?" "Theoretically," Washington replied, "but we haven't tested it in real conditions." "It will have to do," Miller said grimly. "Colonel Daniels, prepare all combat teams. Dr. Pierce, contact our allies. Vice Admiral Foster, complete your mission as quickly as possible." She stood and looked at each of them. "In 1 month, we launch Operation Homecoming. The liberation of Earth begins." Throughout Sanctuary, preparations intensified. Everyone understood what was at stake. Not just survival now, but the future of humanity and their new allies. The final confrontation was coming. The day of reckoning arrived. 3 years after Earth fell, the largest fleet in the history of the galaxy gathered at the edge of the Sol system. Ships of 7 different species formed a massive battle group. Human vessels flew alongside Vixari, Talon, Marishi, Debrani, and Krell ships. At the center, Admiral Miller commanded from her flagship, the Defiance. "All ships report ready, Admiral," Captain Rivera announced. Miller looked at the tactical display. Thousands of ships waited for her order. The liberation of Sol had begun. "Signal all commanders," she ordered. "Execute Operation Homecoming." The fleet moved forward, splitting into 3 battle groups. The first, led by Vice Admiral Foster, headed toward the Exari homeworld to activate the backdoor in their defense grid. The second, under Colonel Daniels, would deploy to Earth with ground forces. The third, commanded by Miller herself, would intercept and neutralize the Sunforge weapon. Ambassador Carter, now openly working with the Alliance, addressed the full Council through a system-wide broadcast. His image appeared on screens throughout Council space. "People of the Galactic Council," he began, "for centuries you have been lied to. The Exari haven't protected you. They've controlled you. They've manipulated your histories, engineered conflicts between your peoples, and suppressed technological advancement. And when humanity joined the Council, they saw our potential to uncover their deception and ordered our destruction." As he spoke, Dr. Pierce transmitted the evidence they had gathered to every communication device in Council space. Records of Axari manipulation dating back hundreds of years became public knowledge. On the council station, the Axari High Commander, Zorkil, watched in rage as his secrets were exposed. "Activate the Sun Forge now," he ordered. "Destroy the human star system immediately." The massive weapon, hidden near Sol's outer boundary, began powering up. Energy readings spiked as it prepared to trigger a chain reaction in the sun that would cause a supernova. Dr. Washington had anticipated this. A special team led by Dr. Pierce deployed the counter-device they had developed. Based on principles from the Babel virus, it disrupted the Sunforge's control systems and redirected its energy buildup. "It's working," Pierce reported to Miller. "The energy is feeding back into the Sunforge itself." The weapon's power levels became unstable. Council technicians tried desperately to regain control, but it was too late. The Sunforge exploded in a massive burst of energy, destroying itself and a significant portion of the Council fleet guarding it. At the Axari homeworld, Foster's team successfully activated their back door in the planetary defense grid. The powerful energy shields protecting the planet flickered and failed. Immediately, Alliance forces moved in, targeting military installations. On Earth, Colonel Daniels led the ground assault. As Alliance ships engaged Council forces in orbit, transport vessels descended to the surface. Ground troops poured out, joining with resistance fighters who had been waiting for this moment. In Chicago, Paul Kelly and his resistance cell captured a Council command center. As they secured the building, Kelly spotted a familiar face among the civilians they freed. "Ryan?" he said, recognizing the boy he had met months earlier. The boy smiled. "I told Mom you'd come back. I knew you would." All across Earth, similar scenes played out. Council forces found themselves fighting on multiple fronts as humans rose up against their occupiers. The advanced weapons provided by the Alliance gave the resistance the edge they needed. On the Council station, Ambassador Carter confronted High Commander Zorkil directly. Alliance forces had secured the station, and the Axari leader stood surrounded by representatives of species he had manipulated for centuries. "You've lost," Carter told him. "Your weapon is destroyed. Your homeworld is under Alliance control. Your fleet is in retreat." Zorkil's facial membranes pulsed with rage. "You think this is victory? You've shattered the peace of 1,000 years." "Peace?" Keloth stepped forward. "You mean your dominance, your control. That wasn't peace, it was suppression, and it's over now." Within hours, the remaining Council forces on Earth surrendered. Alliance ships secured the planet and its moon. Daniel's troops liberated detention camps where scientists and military personnel had been held. Families reunited after years of separation. Admiral Miller watched from the bridge of the Defiance as reports of victory came in from across the system. Earth was free. The colonies were being liberated. The Axari fleet was in full retreat. "Send the message to all Alliance forces," she ordered. "Mission accomplished. Earth is secure." A cheer went up across the ship. Throughout human space, people celebrated their freedom. But Miller knew the work was just beginning. 1 month later, representatives from all Alliance species gathered on Earth to formally dissolve the Galactic Council and establish the Interstellar Alliance. Unlike the Council, this new organization would be founded on principles of genuine equality and transparency. The signing ceremony took place in the rebuilt United Nations building in New York. Admiral Miller, now representing Earth in the Alliance leadership, stood with Ambassador Carter, watching representatives from 22 species sign the new charter. 3 years ago, they tried to wipe us out, Carter said quietly. Now, we're helping reshape the galaxy. Miller nodded. The very qualities they feared in us, our adaptability, our tenacity, our innovation, those are the qualities that saved us. And now they're the foundation of something better. Outside, Earth was healing. The population had been reduced dramatically, but those who remained worked tirelessly to rebuild. With advanced technology and assistance from their new allies, cities rose from ruins. The environment, which had actually improved during the occupation due to reduced human activity, provided a fresh start. In the years that followed, humanity expanded once more among the stars. But this time, they did so as equals in a true alliance. The former council species found themselves learning from humans, requesting advisors and teachers who could help them develop the very traits that had once branded humans as dangerous. Admiral Miller eventually retired from military service, becoming an educator. On the 10th anniversary of liberation, she visited a new school built near Sanctuary. Children from 7 different species played together in the yard. A young Vexari approached her shyly. "Are you the Admiral Miller from the history books?" She smiled. "I am. My teacher says you saved everyone. Is that true?" Miller shook her head. "No one person did that. Humanity survived because we refused to be broken. We adapted, we fought back, and most importantly, we built alliances instead of seeking revenge." The child considered this carefully. "My parents say humans are the best teachers because you think differently." "That's our strength," Miller agreed. "And now it's the strength of the alliance, too." As she watched the children return to their games, Miller reflected on the journey. From betrayal to victory. The Council had tried to destroy humanity, fearing what they might become. Instead, they had forged humanity into something stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever before. The stars themselves had been changed by the struggle, and for the better.